tonight's panel, Ask an Author Dallas. I would like each member of the panel to say their name, what part of the Metroplex they're in, and their current work. If there's any book that you want us to buy right now, something coming out, something soon, give us a little bit about your work right now. And whoever would like to start, you all may dive in.
Okay, hi, I'll go first. I am Kia Montgomery. I am co-owner, founder of Levi&Toonk, LLC. I have currently written 6 books, which is a collection, a full series. I am in the Dallas County area by way of Lancaster, Texas. And of course, anyone can go to our leviandtoonk.com website to visualize and see and review all of the books that we currently have on platform. There's the Me, the My Family, the 11 Months of Growing. There's the I'm One, and then there's the Terrible Twos, Not So Terrible. And they all channel my grandson, Levi. So that's me in a nutshell right now.
Hi, I'm C. Nicole. I am based out of Southwest Dallas, so I move around between, City Hill, DeSoto, Lancaster, that whole little area. I am the author of 2 children's books. One is The Rain Africa, which teaches you about different ethnic groups in Africa, and one is The Rain North and South America, teaching you about the African diaspora throughout the Americas. I have written 3 books, but my other book is a adult historian.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Jacoby Curvin. I'm from Fort Worth, Texas. I have only written 1 book called No Squared. You can find me on Instagram at Jacoby without the apostrophes. I have a few more works coming out. I have 2 more books, one for my son and one for myself coming out hopefully by end of this year.
Hey, y'all. I'm Ashley Finley. I am from Fort Worth, Texas, the countryside of the Metroplex. I am the author of 2 books, Jay's Secret Ingredients, A Recipe for Managing Feelings, and No Limits, a story celebrating the unconditional love of a father. You can check me out on social media at Ashley Finley Wright. And I'm all about mental health, mental wellness in our children, mental wellness in adults, just mental wellness, everything Black excellence. You can check me out. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Jerome Littles. I'm living in Garland, Texas, and I've written 2 books, River, Keep Flowing, Oh Well, and Moon, You're Not Sun, which also doubles as a coloring book. So to me, that book I put it out to give everyone the opportunity to illustrate and color what they felt that the story meant to them, what color was out there for them while they were reading. And I'm currently, I do have a couple other books that's in the works. And I just wanted to put books out there because I just felt like I needed some extra substance once I had a son. When I would read to him, I felt like, man, what can I give him more than just the books that's out there that's currently so. But yeah.
Thank you, Jerome, for actually saying that, because that's a great segue into you all's first question. And we're going to start with Jerome and work our way backwards. I just want you to give one piece of advice that you would give to someone when you see something that you want to attain and you visualize it, but you all are specifically in the middle of the country. You're not on the East Coast or the West Coast where people are used to things happening, where dreams come true. So how do you stay encouraged? What is a piece of advice would you give to someone who's not in one of those areas or on those coasts for those opportunities that exist?
Well, for me, with my process of writing my book, I felt inspired by one of my friends. He put out his book, Gilbert Goes to School. And I had already started writing my book because it was just like I was in today's society. It just feels like, there's a lot of glam, but you don't get to see the rubble. So I just felt like, let's see what I can do to find a way, even because I didn't just technically have all the money. So I just found different things I can do. Like I use Grammarly, which I use for editing. and you can even get that for like a month. And just once you have everything written out, you can do that. Or some of your friends who may be in the school system, like maybe have them proofread over your stuff. Or there's also free trials with the different programs where you can do like a week. So if you have everything concrete set, you can go ahead, do your trial week, get everything set, and cancel your subscription. And that way you can have the opportunity to be able to do the things without all the resources to reach out to different people in those fashions to do those things to help you. Yeah.
Thank you. Ashley, you may go ahead and we'll just go down the line. Great advice. Thank you.
Yes, I absolutely agree with what Jerome said. I think the thing is, you have to figure out how to be resourceful, whatever that means for you. If that, we're in 2022 now, there's YouTube University.
Yes.
A year and a half ago, I knew nothing. I knew nothing about publishing a book. I didn't know what was the ISBN. I didn't know about the process for getting an editor, copyright, Library of Congress. I didn't know any of that. But what I did was I became resourceful. I went on YouTube. I went on Google. I joined Facebook groups. I followed hashtag Black children's authors, hashtag Black children's books, hashtag Black authors in Dallas, Black authors in Fort Worth. Whatever you have to do to be resourceful to find the information, because we are so blessed to have the whole world in our back pocket. So all you have to do is use your energy to try to figure out where and connect with those people, because they're there regardless if you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or if you're in the middle of Fort Worth, Texas, not knowing what you're going to do at all. There are people out there who are willing, and then sometimes it does take investments. I love how Jerome said, finding the free trials, because I definitely did that, testing out different things, and just connecting with other people, because there are a lot of us in this space, more than you would think sometimes, that are trying to make it, that are learning, kind of building the plane as we're flying it. So we're out there. We just have to connect with each other.
Yes. Right. Now, for myself, I resonate with both Ashley and Jerome. The inspiration that I found most that really helped me to get my books out was my sons. I really want to conversate with them about the subject pretty much, and get on a deeper level, and really open the door for them. Just like Ashley said, it was so much resources out there that I didn't really have to go sign up for anybody's programs like they always selling now, that says that that you can spend $5,000, $3,000 just to learn how to publish a book. I was self-published and everything. I found out what avenues that can help me put those out and everything, and I went for it pretty much. Yes, it is. You have to invest in yourself, but just like anything in life that is worthwhile, you spend that money for yourself.
Yeah, so for me, I travel around the world a lot, and I was just coming into contact with different youth who didn't know about just a different ethnic group. So I'm basically a historic author. So for me, the inspiration was just like, hey, like, what would I have wanted to see as a child, or what do I want to read to my nephew? And so that's why I started. And as far as like being in Dallas, to me, I actually lived on the West Coast for a while. And what I noticed is it doesn't matter where you live. It's just always about how hard you want to work. And so for me, most books are sold online anyway. Even if you do have a storefront, a lot of people are still buying online. So it's just about putting the investment into making your book the best. I'm personally in Dallas, but my author was in Nepal. So he's like in Asia on a whole nother time zone. So we worked together, we made it work. As far as publishing advice, I will say, if you do have money, to get you a graphic designer so they can format your book. I know for me, since I do have a graphic design background, it was easy, but I noticed that that's the hardest thing. The hardest thing is not writing. The hardest thing is putting the book to print.
Yeah.
So I would say that advice: invest in a graphic design, someone who can format your book. You can go on Fiverr.com. There's also other places you can go, or even if you have like someone in your neighborhood or child who's into Photoshop or anything like that, break them off a little bit, or get an intern from college or something who needs a few coins. So I would say just work within your neighborhood. Dallas is like a mecca of people who know a lot of a lot. You just have to make sure that you're actually interacting with them.
So true. Hi, everybody. I'm back. I would say what inspired me. Levi. the grandson. In 2018, being unfortunately and unexpectedly fired from a job I thought I would have forever, I went back to my first love, which was writing, and of course, pursued the passion. And I want to say I have a unique situation because my daughter, of course, who's the moderator, her background being English, she became my editor in chief. So she encouraged me a lot because she did a lot of the background work, the learning. Like Ashley said, Google and YouTube are your best friend. They are free resources. When you have a true desire and a passion to do something, you will reach into whatever resource that comes your way. And that's for me, I know a lot of it is looking to hear the advice of people who are already where I'm trying to be. So I, got off into the different conferences, the writers groups, different things that would just enhance my knowledge to ensure that I knew what I was talking about, a lot of the lingo. Again, I agree with Jerome, Ashley, Jacoby, even, Nicole, as they're saying and talking, the part of writing, if you are a true person who's just saying, I love to write, that's really easy because that's something that comes natural to you, pen to paper or typewriter, or I love saying typewriter, but the computer. But when it comes to like the graphics, which is true, that's the part where you have to really start to trust the person that you hire or come in contact with. And sometimes when you are starting out and you really just do not know, it does seem like it is a magnified feat. It seems like it's bigger than ever, but then you start to find out as you read, as you look into who's done what. And it's really interesting to me because I really found out there are a lot of Black authors, a tremendous amount of Black authors writing books. And it's simple to connect and network, like through Instagram, through Facebook. When you follow people and you show a real interest and you ask them questions, I find that they are just as a joy to talk with, to tell you what they've done to get to where they are. So it's a collective effort. It's just putting in the work, because nothing really comes that easy where you're just sitting on the couch, you just look up, someone knocks on the door and say, hey, I want to give you this deal. I want to help you self-publish. So it really is a matter of getting a circle around you, a good group of team of people who are and I like to say like-minded in a way, because they think of the hard work that you have to put into it, but they also think about the end goal. They also look at the fact that immediately, if you're thinking of publishing or writing a book, you don't have to think about 3 or 4 books either at a time. Think and concentrate on the one book that you want to write in front of you and get that down packed. But I find out the easiest thing for me, or the best thing for me, was to get a group or a set of people around me that knew more than I did, so that they could help me get to where I wanted to be. And then my daughter, of course, was the biggest help, because she did a lot of the foot and leg work. So that's
well, thank you. I appreciate it. You all do write children's books, so I do want to keep it fun, because you all gave the people all the knowledge, all the tips, the tricks. I'm getting the sense that it's not as difficult as sometimes we make it out to be. And as a community, we all can really do this work. But sometimes you may have writer's block. And if you are an entrepreneur or a solopreneur, as they say, and you're doing it all by yourself and you're hiring out, what do you do creatively if you're trying to get your juices flowing, you're trying to get some inspiration? I want you to think about what your answer would be to that. There will be no particular order. You can answer however you choose, but while you're thinking of your response, if you have any questions and you're in the audience, you can step to the mic. Again, it's in your left hand corner at the bottom, and your picture will pop up on the screen. And if you have a question for our panel, you can ask it there live, unmute yourself, and they will respond accordingly. If it applies to something they definitely have gone through, they are willing to give you advice. Again, this will be recorded, so you can chat with them on Google Classroom 101 and go directly to their websites and look at their information. This is an ongoing dialogue. Okay, so if you have to get rid of your writer's block, what's something you do, something you say? If it's a playlist you get into, whatever it is, what do you tap into?
For
tap
me,
into my
it's
grandbaby. Oh, go ahead. You want to go?
No, you can go.
I was saying I tap into my grandson. I look at his pictures. I look at videos of him. I get on Duo with him. I have conversation with him like he's an old man, an old person. I really draw from what he's doing currently, what's happening in his life. I sometimes will get up and get away from the computer. I was getting ready to say typewriter. Woo! But I get up, I walk away from the computer. I do listen to certain music, but what I try to stay in the mind frame of, because I'm writing him and a story about him, I listen to whatever he listens to. If there's a show that he's into that he really likes or prefer, I will look at that or watch that with him. I'm asking him constant questions about what he's learning, about his friends. And so that helps me to sometimes just get the juices flowing and thinking more about what am I going to write next. And that really is what works for me first and foremost.
Okay. For me, I use my phone a lot. I use the notes. I don't know if too many people use notes on their phone, but it's been so helpful. And so early in the mornings, after I had a cup of coffee or some type of caffeine, as I'm alone, I tend to just think. And with those notes, I can keep adding lines every time I think of something to add to my story. And I picked up that method from like artists, like rappers or somebody, a songwriter. Like they don't just write the whole song just then, they'll continue punching in. So that was my method of always writing. So once it comes, I get the thought of, I was like, oh, I can use that line. And so I have all this rough draft in my phone. And by the time it comes time, like I didn't got what I needed. So yeah, that helps me, like that synergy time.
And I would say I'm actually the opposite of Jerome. So when my creative juices hit, they hit. Like I wrote Jay's Secret Ingredients in a night. Like when it's hitting, wow, it's hitting. And when it's not, it's not. Okay. So what I have to do for myself is trying to make balance. So I have days where I'm doing a lot of working, doing a lot of book stuff. And then I have days where I just Netflix, and my husband and I, we just find something on Netflix and we just chill out for the night. Like we don't, I have to set those firm boundaries on myself. Say, hey, we're not doing book stuff tonight. Because what I found for me is I get a lot of writer's block when I overwork myself. Like when I'm doing every day, oh, I need to write, I need a page. I tried that in the beginning and it was just like, no, but something will happen during the day that will inspire me. And if I jump on my computer and just crank it out, I can get it out and then I'm done. And then I go back later on and revise it and edit it and then do what I need to do. But for me, it's just really finding balance on this is the time that I'm going to work on things related to my book or my publishing company. This is the time that I am not looking at anything. I'm getting off of Instagram. I'm getting off of Facebook, because even if I start out kind of browsing, I always end up back on somebody's book something, and I'm reading, oh, what's this? I need to apply for this. I need to apply for grants. I need to do this. Send it to the library. This is not put the phone down, but I have to create firm boundaries for myself, because some kind of way I'll permeate right going back to getting back to work. So that's how I try to avoid writer's block. And then if it does hit, looking at other authors that inspire me is always helpful. Like I said, I'm all about mental wellness. So looking at kids' books about mental health and different topics and things like that are always inspiring for me.
Mm-hmm. For myself, I would say just playing with my sons or going and live life with them, doing things, activities. Just like Ashley said, it just hits. When it hits. And I just jump on it. I truly just jump on it when it hits. Like my last book, No Square, when I had the idea of that I wanted the sexual predators to represent the monsters, because they're all monsters. And so I was like, let me just jump on it. And I visioned myself talking to my sons. And that made it a world easier, because I was just teaching my son. So I haven't really gotten writer's block yet. But I know it will soon. So I'm going to take notes from what y'all saying too.
I mean, and sometimes it just flows. However you process is how you process.
Yes.
All of it is welcome in this space, Oh, see, Nicole? Yeah. What would
I
you say?
write historical nonfiction books, so I never get writer's block because these are things that have already happened. So for me, I just write everything that I want to write about in an Excel sheet, and then I go back in and fill in the story. So I feel like sometimes writers get so far from their story because they don't have like their firm, solid like foundation down. So Excel sheet is my friend, and then I write the story out in Word. And so no writer's block. I come from a songwriting background, so I've been writing since I was like 10 years old. I have a minor in journalism as well, so there's always words up here.
That's a good point. That's a good point. The words I know have been something for many of you because this is probably something you've decided you wanted to do at a very young age. And there's a lot of growing, some things that you're learning, the technical terminology. We talked about some of the challenges. I want you to think about something that you are currently an expert or a master at, even if you aren't officially titled a master, but something you feel like you struggled with this at first, but now you're able to look back on it and say, I got that down. How can you inspire the panel as an example or as a model to show them that at one point there was something you didn't know, but you kept following your passion? This is something that was true to you. And now look at you. What thing is
Publishing my
that for
book.
you? What'd you say?
Being able to self-publish my books.
Okay. Okay.
You know, I'm being honest. And I always say this, and of course my daughter knows it, which I feel like, oh, it's so unfair. She knows so much about me. And so I'm telling this, she could tell it. But being a younger child at 11 or 12, like Nicole said, writing for a long period of time, it looked so far off. So I never thought I would self-publish or be able to. I always thought I would have to have a big publishing company or network with a big agent or agency. And so, of course, writing now in my 40s, I found, oh, well, I could self-publish my own stuff, and keep the creativity, keep everything, myself, um, with myself and with the company. But at first, it was just one of those things I just never thought we would master. And I say master because, again, I just have an unfair advantage. My daughter just did so much of everything for me to be able to have this dream and to live it, and where I just freely, truly am able to write. But publishing for me, self-publishing for me, I just thought it would never be possible, because when you're young and you're just thinking, I just want a book out. And then I started thinking seriously about, I don't just want to write a book and just have words on pages, And so when I found out self-publishing was easy and the way to go, I just figured, okay, it's mastered, it's done. Now this is the way to go now for me all the time. Yeah.
One thing that I'm a master of now that I didn't know would come in handy. I remember I was in college and I majored in marketing, but I would try to take all the free classes I can get. And every Monday they had this free like design class, and it was only like out of the whole university, which was like a big school, only like 20 people would go. So they would teach you design. And I didn't know then that learning graphic design in those free classes actually made my life so much easier. Like when we were talking about formatting books and how big or how small or what's the bleed, what's the trim, I'm like, oh, that's nothing for me. I know all of that. And that's really, like I said, the hard part for most authors. So having a skill outside of writing is actually something that helped me out a lot. And I say that to say, if you are wanting to do this, there is a skill that you don't know yet that is so important in your writing. And when you see that, when the aha moment comes, you're going to be so happy, like about how much work you put in back then, and to see it come to fruition now.
I have to agree. I absolutely agree. I'm sorry, girl. You'll go ahead.
Oh no, you can go. I don't mind.
Thank you. Okay, so I absolutely agree with what Nicole just said about having a skill outside of writing. So my background is in clinical social work, mental health therapy. It's not in English and anything like that. Now, I do have a knack for proofreading and editing, but I still hired an editor, thank you, Jesus. Yes, I did, because I did not trust myself, and I needed someone who was formally trained to do that. But having that background in mental health really helped me to pour what I wanted to into my book. And so that I found that to be extremely helpful. So like she was saying, even if your background is not in publishing, it is not in English, it's not in writing, it's not in marketing, it's not in illustration, you can still do this You bring yourself to your books, and that's what's going to make your book extremely successful, is the fact that you are passionate about what you're talking about. The other information, you can learn it. Like I said, a year and a half ago, I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about it. I know you need to write, it needs to be illustrated, and then you wanted to print it somewhere. Though that's what I knew.
Yeah.
But now, you know, I'm in a great space now, and so you can do it. It's gonna take you some time. Give yourself grace, and be resourceful. Connect with people. I stumbled upon a master class that changed my life. It changed my life with editing, with writing and publishing, and so it's attainable. Your dream is attainable no matter what situation you're in right now.
For me, I would put it out there. I was never good at in English. Like I was pretty below average student. I was like C student or lower, but I became a master of my words. Like over time, I just developed, and now like I do feel like I'm a master of wordplay. I can put a lot of things together, and like even back to what inspired me, I forgot to add that. It was like I want to put things out to leave breadcrumbs for my son. So that's what my inspiration is. It's like the things that I need to teach him. God forbid anything happen. I've written you something concrete that you will have. Oh, those are my daddy words. Then or anybody in the world, like they can use those words to be inspired. But yes, I became a master of my words, and Grammarly did help, and also my brother-in-law, which is, to me, I call him a rocket scientist, but yeah, he pretty modest.
We all have our people. We have some gifted people in our family. Young Gifted in Black session on the Google Classroom. Shameless plug. Jacoby, what do you say to this
Myself,
question?
I would say, just when I don't know why it is, I lost it. But really and truthfully, I would say I really lost it. Wow, I was really.
I understand that happens when you get really into it. You know, like when you get really into it. What's something you feel like you mastered?
Oh, there we go. I would say I haven't mastered anything yet. I'm still working everything out. Since it's my first book, but I would say story flow. The spreadsheet right now is really, I feel like I leveled up by looking at other authors and how they did spread or single pages right there, and made it bring the book more to life, more visual, like more visual stuff for kids. I saw that on another author's book. You usually see that people have their CC page blank, just all the information, but he brought it more to life when they had more pictures on it and everything, and also on the title page. I just thought that was awesome. And then also the to and from, it made it more engageful and everything, and more impactful for people to get the book for somebody and everything, and more sincere little stuff like that.
I love those tips. You all are giving little strategies that you all have picked up on. And I'm thankful that you all are sharing your story, because it's not easy. To sort of wrap up with the final question, because again, this is the platform where you all are going to be able to connect with people outside of just this panel, and especially beyond just this week. I want you to leave the audience with just, if you had just one thing you could say about Black Children's Book Week, the importance of this kind of initiative, this movement, what it means to you, anything that maybe you felt as a child that you wish you would have seen that now you feel like you're experiencing and realizing, anything else about Black Children's Book Week that you want to share?
For me, I feel like Black Children's, we created the village. Like they say, it take a village to raise a child. I think by everybody coming together, giving their insights and leading and guiding the people, that's what we all, grew up on. And I think that's what Black Children's Week meant. Like it created a village and an outlet where you can reach out to these different sources.
Okay, I'll go. This gave me an actual platform outside of what some of the other platforms have been for me, and connected me with other Black authors and other sponsors within this group, where I can share my story. They can share their story. I can learn something from them. I always feel like I'm the perfect student in any setting because I want to soak up knowledge. I want to learn. I never want to feel as though I'm the only person in the room that knows something, or I'm the smartest person in the room, or I'm the only person that can offer up information. And so for me, Black Children's Book Week has given me the opportunity to not only share my books, but for me to see other authors, um, really show their artwork, their illustration, just their creativity. It gave me the willies, the goosebumps, because I was like, wow, these people are really, sometimes you feel like your work is the bomb. Like what you write is all that and then some. And I elevate myself. I feel like whatever I do, my hands are golden. It's there. It's on the top. I compare myself to me. But when I'm looking at, like the panel and everyone that's come through the sessions and different things like that, like Jerome says, it's a village. It's really giving me new people that I can follow just even after this event, that I can look at their work, that I can say, oh wow, I didn't think of that. I didn't know that. That's interesting. So that's what I feel like it's actually done. It's opened my eye, and it's also given me like this boost, this energy. It's given me more of a you better get out there and you better do it and you better continue to be the best, because somebody's on your heels, somebody's next to you, somebody's in front of you, and not to compare myself with that person per se, but it's good to be compared to someone that you feel is just as great or just as good. And that's what I feel like it's done for me this week. It's made me say you better stay on top of your game. So yeah,
I'll say, oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I would say that Black Children's Book Week has been truly inspiring to me today, and to me 20 years ago. As a kid, I always felt like I hated reading. I just couldn't get into it, and it was always because I didn't see myself. And so now that's one of the reasons I write books, is so that my sons can see themselves and see people like them in books. And so having Black Children's Book Week and seeing, like Ms. Q was saying, seeing all of the other authors and their books, I've got too many books that are on my list that I need to buy, that I've got to get in the next couple of weeks. Like, they're on my list because I have been inspired, and it's just like, oh man, my kids need this book. I needed this book when I was a kid, and I need this book now. And I want to share it with other individuals that I know. So I really am appreciative that this is going on, especially during this week where we have, Read Across America Week and things like that. It's great to have a space where we celebrate each other, where we celebrate our own, and to just kind of catapult us into the mainstream and say, hey, we're doing great things over here, and we are worthy to be celebrated as well.
For me, I have two things. So my first thing was, growing up, I had a dad who always showed me brown skin. So I always think about the kids who didn't have that. So I've always been a confident child. Like, you couldn't tell me anything. I was like, I know I'm beautiful. So there are kids who don't know that. And so I was like, okay, well, I was blessed to have a father instill that in me, but there are some kids who are not blessed. So for me, Black Children's Book Week does that. It's like, hey, there's actually a platform that I can link people to when they're wondering where can I get these books, with the Black Children's Book Week Museum. That's going to be up all year, by the way, to look at these books and see what's going on. The second thing for me is I'm a Pan-Africanist, unapologetically. So I looked at the budget with my team, and we were like, okay, what are we going to do this year? There was one event that was like multicultural. There was one event, which was this Black Children's Book Week. I'm about recycling the Black dollar. So to have this event, for us to sponsor, for it to be our own people, knowing that it's going to, first of all, Veronica is amazing. Also knowing that it's going to help build this platform, because we always talk about platforms, but it does take money to build it. And then three, being able to, maybe some of that money is going to help another author out in their pitch competition on Saturday. So all of that to me was like, I'm not losing at all with Black Children's Book Week. I'm actually gaining so much, because whether it be someone else seeing the book or me helping someone within the community recycling that Black dollar. So Black Children's Book Week, I remember when I first went to the first initiation event of what was going on, I was just like, we're going to make history. And I said we because all of us. And so I can't wait to do this again next year.
This is amazing. This is amazing. For myself, it's just about inspiring not only everybody that hasn't published a book, but also just inspiring the little kids that just don't see their representative on books and everything. It's truly remarkable to keep pushing forward and everything, and just also get inspired by other authors and just keep on going and everything for what I want in life, pretty much, and just to grow.
You know what? I want to give y'all the cutest little send off. I want you before I do the wrap up about the Google Classroom once more. Can you tell people one more time your name and then one word you would use to describe how you felt when you first saw your book in print? One word to describe how you felt when you first saw your book in print. So your name and that emotion before I wrap us up tonight. Yes.
I can.
You're in the audience.
I'll start.
Let me do this. I'm gonna give y'all a chance to think about it. I know you're ready.
Oh, I'm ready.
I'm ready.
If you
Just
need time to think about it,
reliving
look, I'm gonna just say this. We are done with the panel. Once our panelists sign off with their beautiful endings, you can still tour the Museum of Black Representation. You can reach out to any one of us directly for the Google Classroom information. We're still willing to have conversation, to talk outside of this panel. Let's connect. Let's network. We're ready. These panelists are in the DFW area, somewhere in the county. So if you're in that area, link up. We're all about networking and chatting. It's a beautiful opportunity. So let's capitalize on this love. Okay. Whenever you are ready, we're going to go with you, Miss Ashley Finley, because you are ready.
I'm ready. When you said that, I just remembered when I made that proof came in from Amazon, and I opened that little. Oh my goodness, the word that came to me was grateful. I was so grateful because I did not feel that being an author was attainable. I didn't know how. I didn't know where. I didn't know what exactly I wanted to write about in the beginning. And so I would say grateful. And again, my name is Ashley Finley.
When I saw my first proof, my word was hopeful. So I was hopeful that children would learn more about, their culture outside of, what the school teaches about slavery. So I was just hopeful that they would be smarter than me. Hopeful that they would be more confident than me.
Right.
And hopeful that when they saw the illustrations, that they would just smile and know that they come from a beautiful people. So I'm C. Nicole. You can find me. I'm an author under Pan African Publishing House, so panafricanpublishing.com.
I'm Kia Montgomery. Yet again, I write under Kia M. For me, because I wrote 6 books in probably 3 to 4 months. Once they were printed and we got this big shipment of books on top of books on top of books to make our what we call our collection, I felt accomplished because from the year before that I had, dealing with anxiety and depression, and it was real because after losing a job, you just think that's where you're going to be. I finally saw these books in my hand, and I thought of some of the authors that I used to read when I was a young child. And I said, now I can add my name to the list. And I am an accomplished author. And so I thought to myself, sort of like what Nicole said, these children will be reading my books. They're going to follow my grandson, like I did some of these authors when I was young, following the life stories of whoever they wrote about and their characters. And I just felt accomplished. I felt like they're going to pick up this book and say, Kia M wrote this, teacher, can you read it? Mama, can you buy it? Can you get it? And I just felt good. It was just amazing.
Okay. I just want to say that writing 6 books in 3 months is amazing. I just want to give you your flowers right there. Just want to give you your flowers. For myself, though, I felt legendary. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I felt legendary. The emotions were, I was blessed and everything, but I felt like I put myself in a category that wasn't many people in, especially as a social worker myself. I know that I can propel my future into a new category by public speaking, meeting up with awesome authors like y'all again, and just go to schools and everything and reach my message, send out my message to everyone a lot further than many people who don't have a platform. I felt legendary because people are now tuning in, and now I can give to the world and educate them in a different light and everything. My name is Jacoby. You can find me on Instagram at Jacoby. Just my first name without the apostrophes. Thank you.
For me, my name is Jerome Littles, and mine was inspired. Like when my book came out, I felt inspired that it would bring about change for you to start, for everyone to start looking within and look at themselves as having value and looking at their own uniqueness. Like I wrote my first book, I put it out on my son's birthday as a dedication for him. And then a couple months later, I wrote Moon, You're Not Sun, to give inspiration to us, the people of color, because of like the whole thing with the Black Lives Matter and everything going on, and like how we were pretty much like a sight for sore eyes, I guess, as the world saw it as. But I want to show everybody in that book really that you are great, even if you're not seen. Like you are seen, you have value, you make this world go around. So, yeah.
Yes. I want to give a special thank you to the panelists. They endured my constant emails back and forth, some meetings, some forms, some information. Thank you all for sharing, for posting. We really appreciate you at Levi&Toonk for joining this endeavor and bringing your own audience into this space. Again, this has been Asking Author Dallas with all of these wonderful panelists. Check us out at Google Classroom. Good night.
Good night.
Have a nice one.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, guys.